My name's Anna Wills. I'm the Managing Director of Tonic in the UK. Well, it's quite a long time ago now. I've been in the industry for about 12 years. I actually finished university and didn't really know what I wanted to do. I started off life as an accountant, weirdly. I worked for one of the big four accounting firms as an auditor and really just didn't enjoy it. So I left without another job to go to and thought, was sort of trying my hand at a few temping things, and a position came up at Millward Brown doing quant research, and I was quite good at maths and also quite interested in marketing and business issues, and so I joined their grad scheme back in 2001, 2002. So yeah, I started off in quant. What would I say? Well, I suppose what's written in my job title is about driving profitable growth in the UK. And really that boils down to managing business development and sales, making sure that all the work that goes out the door is excellent from a sort of client service point of view. It's also all HR responsibilities and cultural responsibilities. And then there's the sort of less glamorous operational side of things, from the printer's broken down to, finance kind of things and budgetary control. I think it's working with the team, which is what it's kind of always been all through my career. I think, seeing people grow and develop and achieve great things and produce great work and win pieces of business has always been really exciting for me. I think the bit that I get now, which I didn't get as I was coming through, is more around going to board meetings and being involved in the discussions that shape where the company's going. Decisions about opening offices or expansion in certain areas, or how we're going to position ourselves in the market. So those sort of kind of business management conversations that I'm now kind of part of, that I wasn't before. And also still doing great work for clients. I still work on client business. I still really get a kick out of kind of solving client issues with research and seeing things really come to life that I've worked on. So those still remain. You're going to like this. It's finding good people. It is. I was trying to think of another one actually after we were talking before, and it is really hard. I think it's hard to know whether people are good, and actually the industry doesn't seem to have loads of people that are have that broad skill set that is required from researchers. We sort of ask people to be great account handlers and great at client service, then we ask them to be really great thinkers and strategic, then we ask them to be creative and be able to produce great output, and we ask them to be commercial and think about business issues. So we ask for a really tough, broad skill set, and for people to be good at all of those things and working in a team as well to boot. So I think it's really hard finding the right people and people that fit your culture, and are able to kind of work across the different types of projects that you work on. So that's definitely the thing I'm finding most challenging, certainly at the moment. I think it's difficult. For me, it was don't move company, because I've always been really lucky that I've been offered different opportunities. I think, I wouldn't have wanted to stay a director in an agency as I was for much longer. I wanted a new challenge, and now I've got that because I'm running a company. I think I've always been lucky that I've worked, particularly this agency, it's been small enough that they've been able to adapt for me and with me. So I think in bigger organisations that'd be hard, where you've got a big structure that's set and people just have to move through it. So from that perspective I've been lucky, but definitely the grass isn't always greener client side. It might look that way when you're agency side, that they don't have the same time pressures or challenges, but actually they're different challenges, but they're equally, if not harder at times. The challenge of getting something done internally, or the politics of it, can be really tough, and dealing with lots of different people, and it's definitely a different skill set. I think I'm quite new to the role, so I've been doing it for a year now, so I'm certainly don't feel like I'm done, tick. My role becomes less about my success personally and much more about the success of the company. It is reflected in that. I think growing the business, making sure that the work we produce continues to be really fantastic, and clients continue to use it and it has impact on their business. I think keeping abreast of new challenges and changes in the industry and making sure that we're at the forefront of that, and also making sure one of our mottos is about having adventures in research, which sounds a bit marketingish, but actually is about making sure people are trying new things and taking risks in the company, and not just sticking with the same old ways of doing things. No, is the short answer. I think I was always quite ambitious, but probably more in a short-term sense. I wanted to get to the next level, I wanted to try the next thing. And I was always interested, so I went from doing quant to qual to client side to, all sorts of different things. But I definitely didn't think I'd be running the show. And certainly not having been promoted whilst on maternity leave, which is probably quite unusual, I would say. But I think I was really lucky to work with our CEO, Steve, who is somebody that really inspires confidence in people, who really believes in people and not their circumstance necessarily, and is quite willing to take a punt on people and see what will happen, and he hired me as a qual director with no qual experience. I just I'd only done quant and client side previously, and he also thought that I could do it, and I think that was why I managed to have this opportunity, which has been great. So I've also worked hard, it's not all just him. Yeah, I think it's funny, I often see things like this and people say, these kind of amazing researchers who've been around, and obviously I admire them as well. But I think for me, I really admire people who start their own thing. I think when you're an employee, you don't realise how hard it is, starting a business, being responsible for everybody's salaries, all the ultimate decisions of a business end with you. And I'm certainly not that person, Steve and the founders of Tonic are that person. But yeah, anyone who starts their own thing, I really admire that from an entrepreneurial kind of point of view. And I suppose people who've really pushed for change in our industry, people who've thought, actually, there's a better way of doing something. And, some of the companies I've worked at, I've been lucky enough to experience some of that. I worked at Hall & Partners when, they were first starting, really looking to challenge Millward Brown and do something different. And it was really exciting to be around that kind of thinking and, people who were really sort of rocking the boat and trying something new. So I admire people like that.
Source LF are London's leading creative communications and media recruitment agency. Be sure to like our video and subscribe to this channel. Take the moment to watch another of our videos on screen now.